What's up, buddy? Today we're going through the assembly of the Rogue Adjustable Bench 3.0. I'm gonna show you how to build this thing the fastest way, so it's a lot less of a headache for you. Now, before we hop in the video, if you're ready to take your fitness to the next level, make sure that you smash that subscribe button. I post weekly fitness content to help you get in the best shape of your life. I also post gym equipment reviews and assembly videos like this. So if you like videos like that, make sure you smash that subscribe button and let's hop into it.
All right, so I'll do a voiceover that way you can see each step. I'm more of a visual learner. It'll be a little easier to see all the steps. So make sure that you separate everything, get everything out of the box, make sure that you have your wrench and your socket set. I would also go one step further and make sure that you separate out the bolts and screws into the sizes. That way it's easier to find all the sizes. It's going to save you a headache down the road. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to attach the front foot with the bench spine. Now, disclaimer, I did this step wrong, and it wasn't until later that I realized that I did it wrong. So you'll see here in a second I'm putting it on. Make sure that this is facing the opposite way. So the middle screw and the attachment that's holding the spine and the bench foot together, make sure that it's facing the opposite way. Make sure that it's not facing this way. And I'll point it out later in the video too as well. It wasn't until later that I realized that I did the step wrong. It's not a crazy amount of rework that you have to do. It's just one step that's going to help you avoid later. So like I said, make sure it's facing the opposite way. Second step, we're going to put the back portion on the bench. With this step, just focusing on trying to make sure that you have your washers. That's going to attach the back screws so that in the next step, we can put our wheels onto as well. It's one thing that's nice about this bench. It's a pretty heavy bench. It's a very sturdy bench. It has some wheels on it too as well. That it's going to make it easier to move around. So you'll need hex bolt 19 as well as your washers and your wheels. So after you put those wheels on, moving on to the next step, we're going to put the back support rod on. Now, I'll show you in a second. Make sure that you use the longer of those support rods. You'll use the next one in the next step. So the longer one on this one, you're going to put it into the adjuster for where the adjustable bench will go, and this is what's going to adjust your bench up and down. You're also going to need that hex bolt 16 on this one. So this is the next step. Put that support rod in between. You're going to put the bolt through here in a second, and then you'll tighten it up with the knot. Make sure, like I said, everything's hand tightened at this point. You can go back through and you can really wrench everything down, but for this step, just make sure that everything is. All right, so this is kind of what it should look like at this point. Next step, we're going to put the front of it on. So now you're going to use that other support rod, the smaller of the two, and this is the step where we're going to put it through just like we did, and this is what's going to adjust your seat height up and down, say that you're doing incline. So on this step, put that support rod through. You'll put the hex bolt 16 in through as well, hand tighten it up, and then we'll move on to the next step. All right, so the next step, you're going to put the bushings in, just a quick step in step number 6. And then in step number 7, we're going to attach the seat pad. So in this, you're going to take those smaller socket screws, attach your seat pad, and I would fully just use your Allen wrench and tighten these up. That way you don't have to do it later. And then we'll move into step number 8. Now this is where, like I said, full disclosure, I messed up. When you're first attaching the foot and the spine of the bench, make sure that it's facing the opposite way. So you don't want it this way here as it's shown in this video. You want that facing the opposite way, so the connector pieces connect the spine with the front. Face it the opposite way, because when you get to this step, you're going to realize that, oh crap, I did it wrong. It's a quick fix that you can do really quick. And step number 9, you're going to take your hex bolt number 14, which is the longer of, make sure that's not 15, and you're going to attach the bench adjustment for the seat pad. And then you're also going to attach the adjustment for the inclines on the seat bottom and the very bottom where you're going to adjust the incline. So at this point, you should have something that looks like this before our final step where we're going to attach the bench pad with those screws. So it's just laying on the bench right now. And then we're going to go ahead and take those 2 screws. I'll show you here in a second. Take the last 2 tiny screws, and you're going to adjust it and attach it to the bottom of the bench pad on the back side. Make sure that you set up at an incline. It's going to be a little bit easier to get those screws in versus if it's just flat. So this is what your final product should look like. Rogue 3.0 adjustable bench. I have a full review. I will leave that link down in the comments below, or you'll also see it pop up here in a second. If you haven't done so already, make sure that you smash the subscribe button. Like I said, I post weekly fitness content to help you get in the best shape of your life. I also post gym equipment reviews and assembly videos like this. So Go check that bench review out. Let me know in the comments if you agree with me, and I'll see you guys in the next one.